Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and KDE Plasma Mobile.
Oh, wow.
This is episode 69, streamed live on February, what day is it? 8th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is a room full of people. Let's start with Bhushan.
Hey, I'm Bhushan. I work on KDE Plasma Mobile and other KDE projects like KDE Neon, and I am also one of the main developer for Plasma Mobile project. So, hello.
And Holium.
Yes, I am developer as well.
So I'm Matis. I work on design stuff for Plasma Mobile. Hi.
You've done 15 icons in the last 3 days?
16.
16 icons.
Hi, I'm Nico from KDE. I do stuff in KDE, which includes doing applications that work on various platforms, and I think Ubuntu Touch should be one of them.
Yay!
Yes. And that's one of those things we've been working on this week. We'll talk about that.
Hi, I'm Camilo. I work for Nitrux, that is a Mexican distribution, and I work on a KDE project that is called Maui, and it is aiming for convergence, so it's going to be on Android and on Plasma Mobile, on desktops, and probably on Ubuntu Touch too.
Hi, I'm Jonah, also known as JPB in various groups. I'm working on Plasma Mobile and Kden and in general KDE stuff. I'm also working on Debian packages, and I'm interested in bringing more of KDE's frameworks into Ubuntu Touch.
Thank you for Debian packaging. All of that too, but especially Debian packaging.
Yeah, hi, I'm Linus, and I'm the core developer of Kden and Convergent XMPP or Java client that runs on basically all platforms. Yeah, and I'm also involved in Plasma Mobile. Yeah, and do some things here and there.
Does it run on Windows CE?
Probably not.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hi, I'm Toby, and I do web applications, apparently.
Do you need any introduction?
You do.
Okay. Well, I'm Dalton. I work on the UBports project. I'm the development manager, and I host these things. So, hello everyone who's new and old alike.
Hi, I'm Marius. I'm the lead developer, as I call myself. And I'm me.
Yeah, you're you. You are something, that's for sure.
So, for people that are wondering, why are we with these people? Aren't these our enemies? So, the question for that is that no.
I hate that guy in particular.
Yeah, but that's a personal problem. But
Well, he hates you too.
Yeah, I know. I've learned that over the past 3 days.
yes, for the record, that's a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are here to collaborate because we are essentially wanting to have the same goal, and it would be dumb for us to not work together on components and actually make application work on each platforms and components and Holium and all this.
Yeah, and that's all stuff that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first, a bit of news from the UBports project itself. After our development sync on Wednesday, which we almost missed because we were here. Thank you, Rashanan, for reminding me of that.
Oh, right.
We have enabled our release candidate push, so the release candidate channel for Ubuntu Touch will be released on Wednesday, assuming everything goes well. So OTA 12 is getting closer for everyone who is a current user of Ubuntu Touch, and we're really looking forward to it. And the second to last critical issue was fixed this week and the last one should either be getting fixed or we will bump it down for the next RC. Okay. Let's talk about the stuff we've been doing together now. Let's begin with FOSDEM, because last week was FOSDEM, even though it feels like months ago already. From me, thank you to everyone who found any of us either at the KDE booth. We had hardware there. They had hardware there. We had our hardware there running their software. And thanks to everyone who came around, talked to us, and hung out. So they had my Pinebook Pro.
And my Pine phone.
And your Pine phone was running Ubuntu Touch.
On their table.
On their table. Is there anything else that you guys want to say about your booth? Any of the people that you met?
So we had KDE booth not at our usual place, but a different corner. But we had a booth with some stickers. We also had demos of Plasma Mobile devices. We also had demo of UBports devices. We had Pinebook Pro running Manjaro KDE Plasma, and we were also demonstrating our various technologies like KDE frameworks, KDE Plasma Desktop, Plasma Mobile, and everything. Various people came to our booth and talked about our technologies, our software, and our community. So thank you everyone for coming there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they had a real booth that they signed up for, and we had a fake booth that we set up in the cafe accidentally.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be like that, but
No.
people just came around and talked to us.
What we really wanted to do was set up this picture of like 100 phone. No, it's not 100, but a ton of phone, which I've just posted in chat as Marius.
Oh no, that guy.
Which has one scrub phone that doesn't have Ubuntu Touch on it, but it was there anyway, and we love it. We were setting that picture up, and we noticed that a lot of people were just looking at us and were very interested. So we took our stickers and set them on the side of the table and didn't leave for 8 hours. A lot of people were there, so thank you to everyone who found us there. Next year we should do a real booth.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
But I do think this booth that we accidentally set up because we just thrown our phones on the table and people showed up actually turned out kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how allowed it is for FOSDEM, but
well, they can't say anything now, can they?
No.
On Saturday night after that, we met up with Pine64 and Postmarket OS and Plasma Mobile, and I'm missing some. Manjaro.
Postmarket OS.
I said Postmarket. Anyone who's anyone in the Linux mobile space and was at FOSDEM.
Memo last day.
Memo.
Yes.
Selfish OS, Aurora OS.
Mm-hmm. Everyone was there.
Yeah.
We all met with Pine64 to talk about the Pine phone and combining our efforts to get that done and talking about the upcoming release. There's the picture of the Pine phone on screen.
For everyone watching.
All of the phones on screen. Had a lot of talks with Postmarket OS about the fact that we need to upgrade our Qt.
That continued.
That continued into this week as we had the sprint, as Nico continuously reminded us we need to upgrade our Qt. But it was a lot of fun, which we do. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to Pine64 for sponsoring that event.
Mm-hmm.
And hope to see you next year. I know Lucas is in the chat. I'm watching you.
Well, we aren't watching him, but we're watching on camera. But yeah, I also want to give a huge shout out to Postmarket OS guys. It was awesome hanging with you guys, to all of you. Even though we had some discussion about GTK Martin, I still love you.
Even though you love GNOME. As he sits there using GNOME on my laptop, by the way.
But this is not my laptop. I use KDE proper.
It's called Plasma.
Plasma. I think everyone in the room here will agree with that.
Yeah, I'm the odd one out.
Yeah.
We had a Birds of a Feather session, or BOF, about Linux on mobile, which was scheduled by the Postmarket OS guys. And we talked about everything from things that were missing from the Pine phone to how we would run Ubuntu Touch apps on other platforms to everything that's missing from other platforms that Ubuntu Touch apps would need and also users would probably want. And about standardizing some of the things that we're doing together on the Pine phone. It was a little bit less organized than some of the other ones, but I really loved meeting everyone from all the different projects in a different setting than dinner, but one where we were actually getting down to work.
Yeah.
So again, thanks to everyone who came to that. Developers and users alike, because we needed all of those perspectives.
So this is one thing I've said a lot during this FOSDEM is how amazing the mobile community has been on just being together. This is not something that you generally don't think about because you think about us as enemies. But I think this has, but we do, like not we, but people do see us as competition. But I think this has shown that we actually are far from competition. We are fighting somewhere else than ourselves inside the community. And just like small things like playing a card game with Postmark OS, that's like, I don't know why it feels so to my heart, but it does.
Playing Exploding Kittens with Postmark OS, yes.
Everyone else was gone though, so it was just us.
Everyone else had already left to travel or whatever else it may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately that is kind of the theme of this. The events, everything that we've been doing this week, last weekend, is we're trying to work together because we don't want to steal users from each other. We want to steal users from Android and iOS.
And Windows Phone.
Yeah.
You might not need to do that, ultimately.
There are dozens of them. Dozens, I tell you.
2 dozens.
2 dozen
2 dozens.
in total. Sounds about right.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the theme. Later in the day, someone scheduled a Pine phone Birds of a Feather session on our behalf.
And a Librem one.
Yep. And
That no one from Pine or Librem knew about.
right.
Yes.
So that was interesting. Please contact us next time if you're watching. I brought Lucas along. We ran to the place where it was being held, and the person who organized it did have questions and had a structure to the event, to his credit. And Lucas started by talking about the hardware, and then people started asking questions about software. So myself, Bhushan, and Luca from the Postmark OS project went to the front and started talking about software.
Yeah,
Pine
kind of.
64 session.
Yeah, I felt a little bit bad for Lucas when he stand there and got all these questions like, someone help him.
Sorry. But I think it went really well. We answered a lot of questions. The room was packed. There was standing room only.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
And a lot of people had Pine phones. So we passed around our
Wow.
Pine phones, which thankfully the batteries lasted through the entire thing.
Well, yeah.
And had a great time in general.
Yep. And I think most of you guys were there too.
Yes,
Bhushan were there, Nico were there,
I was there as
you
well.
were there,
Yep.
and us.
We later in the day was Bart and Merline's talk on the main stage about Postmark OS and Memo Leste, as well as all the other projects surrounding it, including Plasma Mobile and Ubuntu Touch, who they said was the most usable open source OS. That didn't land as I thought it would.
People are angry here now. Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
We're not getting invited back next year.
No, we are not.
It was a great talk. You can go to the FOSDEM scheduled to watch it because it was live streamed and now it is recorded for anyone to watch. If you want to learn about Memo or post-market OS, or any of the other surrounding things, including the hardware of the PinePhone and the Librem 5, and a bit about Hybris in there as well, and what exactly that means for everyone.
Which Pusha really liked.
You are talking about sprints? Sorry.
No, Halium on the talk by Bart.
Yes, so he mentioned that the Ubuntu Touch and Plasma Mobile are currently using libhybris for the devices which are currently supported, like for Android-specific devices, and for PinePhone or Librem 5 or another open mobile devices, this won't be actually a problem. You will be able to use fully mainline Linux kernel and proper Linux user space rather than depending on Android drivers or binary blobs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's true.
Yep. So thank you to everyone who came and saw both of our projects at FOSDEM, and thank you to everyone who came with both of us, Alfred and Nikita. Thanks for joining us, and anyone that you'd like to thank in particular?
For the FOSDEM?
Yes.
So for FOSDEM, I would like to thank Adrian for organizing KDE booth, and also Carl for organizing our FOSDEM courses, and also all of the people who manned our booth, like Akhil, David, Marco. Thank you for handling our booth. Yeah.
I also again want to thank Luca, Bart, and Martin for being
awesome
in general. Yeah. Also the KDE guys, but we will take you guys later.
Oh, and yeah, thanks for having our PinePhone at your booth.
Oh yes. And thank you for inviting us here.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what this week has been. So from Monday through today has been the Plasma Mobile Sprint for early 2020. You called it 2020. I'm going to call it early 2020 because I don't think this is the last one you're going to do this year.
Well, it's for Plasma Mobile Sprint. I think it's the one and only for this year, but there will be Plasma Sprint, where we will also discuss Plasma Desktop and all of the Plasma rather than just very mobile specific. So for this year, it will be Plasma Mobile Sprint 2020, I guess. Yeah.
I doubt it. So we've been here in the KDAB office with all of these wonderful people and more. Some had to go back traveling today, talking about all the things that we can do together, all the things that we can steal from Plasma Mobile, and all the things that Plasma Mobile can steal from us. Because, of course, if we make these projects together, we all do less work and we all go farther.
Yep.
So first, and I put this first because my huge ego, we have getting KDE and Kirigami apps on Ubuntu Touch. So Kirigami is a convergent framework for building applications based on Qt and KDE technologies. And it makes beautiful applications such as Quirka, Keysmith, and Not Color Paint. Not Color Paint needs to be rewritten, does it not? Sorry, I was just reading your list. K-Trip, K-Itinerary, keep going.
Calendori, Plasma Phone Book, Plasma Camera, Cookbook, Rucola,
Kaidan,
yes.
Discover.
We almost kind of got building Qt 5.12 in a click package working, which would allow for the apps to just be shipped on Ubuntu Touch.
Well, we did for x86.
That's not cross-compiling.
Yeah.
So it built in for desktops, but not for mobile phones, which is what we kind of needed.
Yeah, we knew it run on desktop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew from the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We knew that was going to work. And if we needed any help, we just needed to call Nico, who works at KDAB, who does consulting for Qt. We instead, after working on that path for a couple of days, started building Qt 5.12 with the UBports package infrastructure, which will both help us upgrade our system Qt, as well as possibly allow these apps to be built before we're able to complete that transition, which would mean that we get Kirigami apps on Ubuntu Touch. Woo!
And also Maui apps.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
All of them together, because Kirigami and hence Maui require at least Qt 5.11.
12.
12.
It's 12 now. Okay.
It
Moving
was
too
always
fast
12.
for us.
Yeah.
Slow down, man.
But yes, much very importantly to everyone who's been here this week, it helps us upgrade our Qt.
Yeah.
That has been the recurring mantra for this week. Every time we said we wanted to do something, upgrade your Qt.
So when I come back home, I will continue the quest of building a repository where the newer Qt is, so it can be at least tested. Because I didn't finish it here because it takes a lot longer because Debian. But yeah.
We also spent quite some time on educating you guys how to properly pronounce Qt.
Not you guys, me. It's called Qt.
It's not.
No.
The Qt company has clarified this.
Let's do the Qt for dance.
No, let's not. We were working on improving Kirigami as well this week. Kirigami itself, including bringing a ton of those apps to Android. If you'd like to talk about that.
So one of the things that I'm actively working on is bringing those apps that we design with Plasma Mobile in mind also to Android, because it's probably going to be quite some time that people will be running Android phones, and myself included. So I would like to use the apps that are right now for Plasma Mobile also on my Android phone. Thanks to the power of Qt and KDE frameworks, it's usually quite easy to do that. It usually just requires a few tweaks, and then you can run almost the same application on Plasma Desktop, on Plasma Mobile, on Android, on any Linux distribution.
And Ubuntu Touch.
Yes.
Once
Which
you've
isn't a
upgraded
Linux
your Qt,
distribution.
and also in theory, Windows and Mac OS, patches welcome.
So this is what color convergence.
Mm-hmm. One app running everywhere,
Or multiple.
including on Ubuntu Touch.
Yes.
Is there anywhere that people can go to get those apps for Android?
So what we have right now is our own F-Droid repository that gets nightly built from our binary factory. You can find that just by Googling KDE F-Droid repository, and you will find a link that you add in your F-Droid app, and then you can get those. Once some of those apps are in a stable state, we will, of course, release them to the official F-Droid repository and possibly also Google Play.
Cool. I'll be waiting. Actually, maybe not. I only use Ubuntu Touch.
Upgrade your Qt.
Yep.
We are.
We also had the developer of K-Itinerary in the room for a while, so we were all throwing our
Boarding cards.
passes at him. He does appreciate being given those.
Maybe explain what it
first,
is.
let's start over.
Sure.
KDE Itinerary is an application that tries to manage all your booking information, boarding passes, travel tickets, all that stuff in a central app. You may know this kind of application from services like Google or Apple that extract boarding or ticket information from your emails, but it doesn't cost you anything except for your privacy. That's something we are trying to fix. So KDE Itinerary is a system that extracts this kind of data from your emails, from PDFs you feed in, and from other sources, and then presents them to you in an application that runs on your phone, which allows you to view all your itinerary in a unified and better fashion than ad-loaded HTML emails. And it also allows you to query live traffic information, so it notifies you when your train is delayed or canceled. And it can also do things like give you information on how to get from the airport to your hotel. Check it out. You will find it on the KDE F-Droid repository, hopefully soon also in the official F-Droid repository. And to improve this, we need more sample data from basically everything that contains this kind of information, like emails, PDFs, tickets, Apple Wallet files, etc., etc. So if you have those and are interested in having your travel data in a privacy-friendly manner, please consider donating those to KDE. I think you will find contact information somewhere on the KDE wiki, or if not, just contact us in, for example, KDE Devil chat on Freenode.
And hopefully this will also be available on Ubuntu Touch.
When we update
Once
our
you've
queue.
upgraded your Qt, it will be there.
Oh god, I can't imagine. I can't count how many times we are gonna bashed on this same
Oh yeah,
topic.
all week. We continued this week by talking about how we would get Ubuntu Touch apps on Plasma Mobile, because that is also convergence if our apps run on their platform, as well as possibly other platforms someday. The sky's the limit once we update our Qt, apparently. So we talked about features like the Content Hub, what and why Plasma Mobile would want to use Content Hub, as well as some similar things that serve similar purpose inside of. I didn't mean to make that pun. Inside of KDE.
So what we currently have inside KDE is a framework called Purpose, which is a framework for creating abstractions. We love abstractions in KDE.
Yes.
What it in practice does is it powers the sharing feature you see in various KDE applications that allow you to do stuff like send it with KDE Connect, send it over Telegram, send it over other messengers, upload it on YouTube or Imgur or Pastebin. And it kind of does a similar job to what Ubuntu Touch's Content Hub does, except that it's more powerful in some ways, except that Content Hub is nicer in other ways. And we've been discussing how we can bring this kind of abstraction also to our Android apps and also on Ubuntu Touch. And we had a quite fruitful discussion on this. And so the future plan is that after some reworking on Content Hub, we can hopefully use that on all of those platforms, and it will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We have extensive notes on this topic. There should be blog posts and things from this sprint coming soon, TM, after we've all gotten home and are able to sleep.
Yeah.
But until then, that will be a good summary
Yes.
of what's been going on there. And we've also talked about other things for Plasma Mobile, including application lifecycling, how it's done on Ubuntu Touch, as well as poking holes in confinement for either Flatpak or possibly Snap. We've been talking more the Flatpak side, though, such as allowing camera access or how KDE apps could do that on Ubuntu Touch and how possibly we want to do that in the future for more platforms. We started gathering requirements for a new push server.
Called Pushan.
Push on.
I wasn't going to say it.
But that's set in stone now. It is called Pushan.
It's on the whiteboard.
Yes.
So that makes it
Can't read
official.
on screen.
I don't think you can really see it, but there
No.
is some pretty lines that design how this will work, and it says Pushan.
Yep. Because of course we like Ubuntu push, our current push server that allows you to have battery saving notifications from things like Telegram and Matrix, but it's centralized, and that is not useful or wanted by KDE or other open source projects, which I can understand. So we considered options for a push server that could be both centrally or decentrally hosted. And we are still looking for more information from people who actually develop apps which would use this service. We have contacted some and contacted people who have designed some of these things before. But if you're someone who develops mobile applications which use push technologies, you can certainly contact me. I'm at Universal Superbox on Telegram, and that same thing, but without any E's in it, on Twitter. Name size limits, and everything. We talked more about KDE Discover, right name? Yeah. And Alex showed both Brian and myself the backend system. We talked about that a little bit, how we could possibly either have a click backend or how we can go forward when we choose another packaging technology, which has been super helpful. Thank you to Brian for participating in that as well. And thank you to Alex for showing us that it's actually Alish. I'm sorry. For showing us how simple it is to make backends for that. Do you want to talk a little bit about Holium?
Oh, okay. So on the Holium side, we have been discussing a little bit about the reference root file system and what we should do with the reference root file system and how we should move that forward. For those that don't know, the reference root file system is basically the gateway into Holium to get started on it, and it's the vendor, well, not vendor, I would say distro neutral test root file system for Holium.
So that you can more easily port Ubuntu Touch and Plasma Mobile and LunaOS and to new devices.
Yeah. With Holium, we mean that's the hardware extraction layer which uses Android and uses the Android driver to deliver drivers. We also been discussing a little bit of what to do further along with Holium and how we should do it with newer versions of Holium. There's a lot of TLDRs there because there's so much, but we have been discussing a little bit of Android 9. We already have some tests with Android 9 from some community people, and we also have been discussing the treble part of it a little bit.
The generic system image kind of thing.
Yeah, which isn't as generic anymore as we wanted it to be. But hopefully it will work out. You want to say something about it?
So one thing which we discussed was our porting workflow is like currently you get reference file system and it has everything starting from container already enabled, which makes essentially you, what happens is essentially every services are already enabled and that might not be already functional, and it results in essentially your device completely rebooting, and that may not be desirable. Like you don't want your device to crash when you start porting. So we are thinking about doing things step by step, like you enable services one by one after fixing things, rather than having 10 problems at once and fix one problem. So like we wanted to make this process much simpler for new porters, and we discussed this with Marius and Dada. Yeah.
I helped.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Actually, could you talk a little bit about what you've been doing with Maui this week and the different apps that you have for Maui as well?
So I came here because we have a specialization framework from Kirigami that is called Maui Kit that uses Kirigami. So I came here because we want to work on upstreaming some features so they are in Kirigami and we can start using them on Maui. Those features were mainly focused on putting the content first on the applications. So it was like having pullback toolbars. So when you scroll, they disappear and the content gets more visible. And as the Maui project, I've been working we'll be working on a set of applications that are going to be shipped by default on Nitrux OS, the Mexican distribution on desktop.
Mhm.
Also, some of the applications are being used on Plasma Mobile, and Maui is a KDE project. So they also work on Android and on Windows, and soon on Ubuntu Touch. So we want to reach as many platforms as possible. So
Upgrade cute.
yeah,
I have to say I was surprised. I didn't know about Maui before this, and I'm surprised how beautiful those apps are.
yeah, thank you.
Those are amazing. I really want to have those on Ubuntu Touch.
Upgrade your
It's
cute.
Yeah, and maybe I can throw a link to the Telegram channel we have with Maui, where I'm constantly pushing APK packages and executable packages from Windows, and that packages so people can test it and give me feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can also get them on the KDE F-Droid repository.
Okay.
Okay. And soon on Ubuntu Touch.
When we upgrade our cute,
Yes.
we need to upgrade cute.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to start questions in just a moment from live chat and from our forums. I see we have a lot of very excited people in the live chat today. Thank you to everyone who's here. I would like to thank from the UBports side our sponsors, including Smooze, DigitalOcean, Packet.net, and the Works on ARM project, Private Internet Access, and Code Luton. And for our community sponsors, I would like to thank.
You saved it for myself.
Oh, sorry. George Toma, Darko Balka, Thoralf San, Laurentine Tilleman, Milan Iliv, Scott Marley, Renat Mirkolev, Morgan McMillan, Sergio Shvetsov, and Yogesh Patad. If you would like me to mispronounce your name as well, you can head over to ubiports.com/donate and click on the links there. Can you plug what you'd like for sponsorship or donations?
So we would like to thank KDE for hosting us in their office and KDE for sponsoring our travel and accommodation for this event. Nico can talk more about KDE later, but KDE is the legal entity which represents KDE community in legal and other official aspects. They are based on Berlin, Germany. Nico, can you talk about it?
So I'm wearing two hats today. I'm from KDE, but I'm also from KDAP. We at KDAP are offering consultancy services for Qt, C++, and 3D technologies with a strong focus on embedded development. So we have been very close to the KDE community since ever. And since KDE is close to UBports, we're also kind of close to them now.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for all of it. Okay, we have a lot of questions to get to. Let's start with live chat. And because we were just talking about Halium, we can start with those.
Yours.
So the first question, we get this one quite a bit. How is Halium 8.1 going? What do you think about it?
So we discussed this briefly, but
Yeah.
it's still a TLDR.
which is Halium and Ubuntu Touch and Plasma Mobile and for devices which ship with Android 8.1 or above.
Yes.
8.1.
So what we likely will do is to skip Android 8.1 and move directly to 8.9, since that has already been ported.
8.9 or
9.1.
Yeah, we port backporting. No, 9.1. So that's already in progress, and we have some devices working on that already by Nikita. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so not yet. The other question I'm seeing a lot is there a GSI?
No. So this is something that will need a lot of re-engineering inside of how we are talking to our drivers. So what currently we do is that we use the libraries on Android side and we call them through libhybris. But what GSI Droid does is that it's two different partitions, where it has a vendor partition which runs on a vendor partition, and then they have a system partition which then runs on a system partition, which is your Android, which is the same. We could use a code path that way through libhybris also, but that's still TLDR, very TLDR.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So new. Thanks, Nico. People are asking, can Plasma Mobile and Ubuntu Touch run Android apps?
So
Ish.
So for this, we have Nbox project. In theory, there is nothing in Ubuntu Touch or Plasma Mobile which can prevent Android applications from running if you get Nbox working. But as far as I know, some communities have members have managed to make it work somewhat, but I don't know the current usability state of it. So that is something we are doing to actively block you from running Android application, but running Android application using Nbox or similar technologies is just hard. So
yeah. There's also nothing we, as in the specific people from the projects in this room, are doing to enable it either.
Yeah.
Which we would love to have time to do.
Yeah.
We just don't.
So I did some work a while back on this, and there is a really early version which works fine for just graphical stuff. It's really slow and takes a lot of CPU cycles, but it doesn't use any hardware. It can do network, but it can't use camera, GPS, and all this.
Just enough to get WhatsApp running for text chat if you don't like battery.
Yes. So it works, and we now also have supports in like the Nexus 5's kernel and the Fairphone kernel and the OnePlus 1 kernel by default. So you can actually just install Landbox and it should work. Would I recommend it?
Well.
No.
Yeah.
But it's still TLDR when we get more time, because we have a lot to do.
And this week didn't help with that?
No, I still need to get sleep. I haven't slept properly. So, yeah.
No, Android apps will not work if Qt is updated.
No.
maybe it will work.
But
Well, our Android apps will work.
your apps which happen to run on Android will work.
We can run the KDE apps using Andbox.
Yeah, but shouldn't.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, there is another way of running it. I had explained to you. But,
But that requires updating Qt.
no. The another way.
Flatpak?
No.
Snap,
Static.
What?
Libertine.
Or Libertine?
app image.
App in? Well, actually,
No,
probably.
no.
I don't know if anyone
yeah.
has actually tried to run an app image in Touch.
I have.
Okay.
It works fine.
Oh,
Except it's app image.
And there are only very few app images for ARM devices.
Yeah, I built it myself, though.
That explains why it worked.
Okay, and now we will take questions from the UBports forum. And of course, if you have any that you're seeing in live chat, you can jump in between. Gizmo Chicken says, Pine64 mentioned in a video posted on YouTube that after a recent update to Unity 8, Ubuntu Touch on the Pine phone somehow performed better. I'm curious, what updates yielded the improved performance they weren't saying.
Right.
The thing is, at the time, we didn't know what we did to make it work
We
better.
had no idea because we didn't change anything. And the
No.
things that we changed had nothing to do with the graphics.
No.
But we figured it out.
We figured it
Well,
out.
Lucas figured it out.
Lucas figured it out. It's the wallpaper.
So if you set up black wallpaper, it's much smoother. It's a great bug.
So obviously we need to fix our wallpaper handling. I don't suppose KDE has anything with that.
So for wallpaper, I think we use mostly QML wallpaper plugins, but yeah, I don't really know how Unity 8 handles or May handles the wallpaper. So yeah, I think that's completely your problem.
It's
Well-
a shader mask.
If you just used Plasma, then wallpapers would work.
But then we had other problems to deal with.
Oh.
But that's true though.
Yeah. Advanced troubleshooting. Set a different wallpaper.
Yes, this is what we do. Only the most advanced debugging. We are changing the wallpaper every
Yes,
time.
while Bhushan was across the table debugging shaders, we set a different wallpaper.
Yes. Which is essentially also a shadow problem, but yeah.
Technify Club, could you be more specific with your question? Barn Owl asks, how big of a job is it to convert existing Ubuntu Touch apps to run on 64-bit architectures? Not very in most cases. For those, you run clickable with -- arm equals
No,
arm64.
-a or -- arch, and then
Yeah.
underscore. You said -r.
Oh, okay. ARM64, and that will build your app for ARM64. And we attempted to do that with Kirigami apps this week, and we will get there.
Well,
Super good.
the
We'll
problem
upgrade our
is
Qt.
that we build whole Qt libraries into there, and if you ever have built Qt, you know how big it is.
And if you've ever tried to cross-build Qt, you know how much of a pain that is.
Yes,
That's okay, that makes money.
yes. But now they are switching to CMake, which will make this a lot easier.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Probably.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We hope.
We hope.
There was a question about the Qt offering changes for Qt 6. We did see, however, we kind of want to watch the situation shake out more between all of our projects before we give a concrete answer on how exactly that'll affect us. So thank you for asking, but we don't have a concrete answer at the moment.
Same applies for KDE.
Yeah. And Alan Griffiths asks, what does the packaging of Unity 8 Desktop for Debian mean for your projects?
Ooh.
This week, a blog post came out from Sunweaver talking about how he is packaging Ubuntu Touch Unity 8 Mir for the Debian operating system and getting it submitted to their repositories. This is a sponsored project, so thank you to the sponsor for that. And thank you to him for taking that on, of course. How this affects us is for both of our sides, it means that he's going to be taking out different dependencies that either aren't in Debian or aren't needed anymore, so that they can actually be uploaded and accepted. And that means that we have fewer dependencies that we need to build, making it much more possible for our apps to run on different platforms, such as KDE Plasma Mobile. or even the desktop itself. The Ubuntu desktop, well, not the Ubuntu desktop, Ubuntu will pull packages in from Debian unstable as well. Unstable? Yeah, they pull from unstable. SID is unstable. So that will mean that if there's no special handling applied to those packages, they will all be coming into Ubuntu as well. Again, making it more possible to run those apps on the Ubuntu desktop, or once some upgrades happen, KDE Neon as well, and any other Ubuntu-based distro. And we will see the fruits of that coming as we continue to work on that project. So, of course, for Plasma Mobile, it means more of our apps are possible for them, and more of our technologies are possible for them to use, including things like Content Hub.
Or telephony service.
Or telephony service, which we've also been working on in
Yes.
this room, removing more dependencies from that are only used by us, so that they can build it and use it. Telephony service being the thing that connects together phone calls and other similar
Maps,
things
history.
on Ubuntu Touch, and
Oh.
hopefully soon Plasma Mobile.
Yeah.
Ow, that was loud.
It also, one of the things that we have discussed is also to remove many of these dependencies. Yeah, as we say, but also on other components. It doesn't only apply to these. It applies to a whole stack. Try to use as much upstream as possible, and yeah.
Something we've also discussed a bit is the other way around, like UBports people using building blocks provided by KDE, because we've been doing software development with Qt for more than 20 years now. So we've got quite some things done right, and that's something you can profit from too.
Mm-hmm. This is also something we discuss, and remove many of the components that are basically equal, or many cases better on the KDE side, and then switch over to those libraries instead, which are maintained by a lot more people.
Yeah, that almost seems like a foregone conclusion, which is why I haven't been hitting on it much, because KDE is the much larger project to the UBports smaller project.
But one thing to keep in mind is that we started from different ends, and I think that's where many of these problems collide, and many of these issues like Content Hub appears, because Ubuntu Touch was started by Canonical for phones, while KDE was started on desktop for desktop, and now we try to build these bases on the opposite ones, and we see that it doesn't really work like that on phones as it does on desktop. And I think that's also the interesting thing we have been discussing, on how different they really are, but at the same time how equal they are, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I hope. As well, I mean, we've been saying it all week. Everyone in this room, but this laptop, is using KDE Plasma.
But you.
Everyone but is using KDE Plasma. None of them are Unity 8. But coming from the other side, Unity 8 is useful on a phone. So if we can meet in the middle and bring all of these technologies together, we will both have far better operating systems on both platforms.
Yeah, I think that is a very good way of saying it, is that, yeah, I don't use Unity 8 on my desktop because it's not usable. I use KDE.
You use Plasma.
You use Plasma.
Yeah. And the same goes the other way around. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's time? Okay. Mark from the forum says, congratulations for the work on the Pine phone and other ARM64 devices this week. One consequence of this is that Ubuntu Touch is becoming more stable and usable on the Raspberry Pi. My question is, where can I go to learn more about it so that community members who are engaged can come up with suggestions on how we might solve issues, and so that I have a better chance of knowing what they're talking about and how I can start developing. Some things are making more sense to me now than they did a year ago, but I'd like to travel further down. I'm going to call this the rabbit hole, but he says Linux user to developer road, so that my contributions are more helpful to the community. Oh boy, isn't this a question we all get. So for Ubuntu Touch itself, you can, if you want to get more into contributing, Mark, you're already in the right place. Because you're listening to these podcasts with us, with KDE. You're in, I think, both of our Telegram groups already. And you know where to find us all. So if you have questions about these things, we try to answer them for you. And all that we ask is that you turn around and do the same for others coming after you, which, as far as I have seen, you have done. And the same for anyone else who's coming into the community, trying to get involved, how to contribute. I mean, what do you guys say when you have people who come into your IRC and they want to contribute more?
So for KDE, we if you want to start start from really scratch and you want some beginner tasks, we have a thing called junior job, which you can find on kde.org/jj, and then you can pick up some really small bugs and start your contributions there. We also have getting how to start development or where to go, how to start KDE development wiki pages on Plasma Mobile website. We also have find your way where you can essentially look at various tasks which we require for Plasma Mobile, and like what things needs to be done for Plasma Mobile, so you can get some of those, pick up one of those tasks and contact us. We are available in Telegram, Matrix, IRC, and mailing list, so you can reach to us there.
Okay. And I think you're more new to like the community and everything. How have you found that you've wanted to get into contributions? How have you started with that? Because
So my brother, who is sitting there, asked me last year to design some icons for apps he has developed, and I sticked with it for a few days back then. And when he asked me to come to the sprint, I said I thought I could be maybe helpful, so I came, and I think I will do more now.
Excellent.
You learned a lot about how to do icons for KDE,
Yeah.
which pixel size the border has to be.
It was painful, but
These were the last 3 days of my life, and they were wrong. It was heard in this room. I mean,
You also learned how to do a screenshot of the icon.
and it's not contributing a separate screenshot icon. And I mean, all I can say is thank you. You've designed 16 icons in 4 days now.
And they are gorgeous.
They are indeed. So just coming to this event and going from a couple icons to 16 icons is some of the simple way that people can grow into it. And for you, Mark, specifically, I think that you're doing excellent, and I thank you for everything that you're doing in our community. Bringing people into the Raspberry Pi group and helping them out, telling them what the current status is. Quite frankly, I think we need more people like you.
I also want to mention that you have done something for UBports too, because I see you have a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I have the shirt because I took part in a contest you did a few months or a year ago, something like that. But I have not really contributed many things yet. But I fixed the airplane mode icon. So
Yes, you did.
That's one
Yep.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you need more things,
And-
just ask.
Thank you. Everything is amazingly helpful. And that's something that I think that we don't always tell new contributors.
Yes.
I see one question in chat which says, we would like to see a full release of KDE Plasma and adaptation for different devices and various. Our Russian community supports KDE Plasma Mobile project. When will KDE Plasma Mobile be released? I think the answer to that is one thing is we are releasing our phone shell as part of Plasma 5.18 release. This as part of Plasma 5.18, while it won't give you LTS promise or any LTS promise, which Plasma 5.18 desktop project is, but we will be releasing at least some components as a release starball, so distributions can start packaging it and users can install it on their distributions.
Warning, this will not mean that we recommend Plasma Mobile for daily use.
Yes. But for daily usage, I mean, like we currently have this new devices like PinePhone and Librem 5 coming, and these devices actually help us to develop better for those and develop better for Plasma Mobile. So ultimately, we will be able to create a stable release which is ready for daily driver soon enough. There is also a question about forum dedicated to Russian KDE Plasma Mobile community. As far as I know, there is a Telegram group and IRC channel for KDE Russian community, which you can join. And as for financial support, Plasma Mobile team in specific does not take donations, but you can donate to KDE EV, and that will ultimately help us Plasma Mobile project. Like KDE is helping us sponsor this various conferences and meetings. So yeah.
So, to the potential Russian community for Plasma Mobile, what would certainly help a lot is if you contribute to translating all of KDE software, which includes Plasma Mobile, to Russian. There are quite a few active translators there, but they can certainly use any help. And what you also can do is find like-minded people in your area, organize meetups, exchange things, hack on things, and gatherings like these are always very helpful to spread knowledge to other people and drive the product and also the community forward. So if you need any help in finding out how to organize things like that, how to contribute to translations, to promotion, etc., then please contact us. We can certainly help you with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we'll about wrap it up here. But I would like to give everyone a chance to plug their projects, of course. I would like to start with Kaidan. Where can people find you?
Yeah, we have a website, kaidan.im, and we also have a Mastodon account that's on Fostodon. It's linked on the website. We are not always that active, but we reply in most cases.
You're more active on XMPP, right?
Yeah, in the MOOC, in the group chat, we are also active, and there you can directly chat with us.
And you can also find that one on the website.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Camilo?
Well, you can go to Nitrox webpage, is nxos.org, and there is also a MauiKit page, mauikit.org. You can go to the Telegram channels, and I think that's it. And yeah.
Okay.
Our source code is the GitLab instance of KDE that is invent. So invent.kde/ invent.kde.org/kde/mauikit. Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the projects, or the project that is closest to my heart, what I'm doing is KDE Connect, and we have a brand new website which you can find at kdeconnect.kde.org, which will give you any information you need about KDE Connect, including all of the communication channels we have.
Mm-hmm. Who are you?
Well, I'm currently working on an RSS feed reader. At the moment, you can get it by stealing my laptop, but it will soon be on invent.kde.org.
Okay.
I am available on Telegram, IRC, Matrix, and pretty much any communication medium, I guess. And you can also find me in Plasma Mobile chat, UBports chat, Helium chat as well. So
Where are you not?
I think you should be able to find me anywhere, mostly.
Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
So I don't really have personal projects, but I'm making icons for open source projects. So you can find me on Mastodon. I'm called at M4TZ. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can find UBports at UBports on, oh boy, so many
Everywhere.
places, everywhere. We really appreciate you joining us once again, Plasma Mobile, Maui, all of you, and thank you for the equipment and the office to KDAB.
And also thank you for inviting us in the first place.
Yes. We're never getting invited back.
If we are getting invited, that's the
That's on you.
This is also a joke, I hope.
Yeah, right.
Depends.
Depends.
I
on
see
the
that.
bribes.
I see we have a lot more questions coming in. You can head over to any of our social media links for KDE, our forums, to ask these questions. We really appreciate all the interest tonight. So thank you. The fun doesn't stop here for UBports. I need to do this. I'm sorry. I need to do this right. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram. We also have a Telegram news channel, Diaspora, and a news channel on Matrix if you want them straight to your chat client. Or you can chat with us on Matrix, Telegram, or for longer form content, you can find our forum on forum.ubports.com. All the links for those are down in the video description. Do you have anything you'd like to rapid fire like that, Bhushan?
So we have Twitter, Mastodon, and we also have presence
LinkedIn.
on Matrix and Telegram. You can find those on our. You can find links to various Matrix and Telegram rooms on community.kde.org/telegram or community.kde.org/matrix. You can also find KDE community on Twitter, Mastodon, and you can also follow playnet.kde.org for all of our community members, where you can essentially read the blog post by all of our community members.
Or you go to kde.org and you will find all that what Bhushan just said, but you will actually be able to understand it.
Thank you, Nico. You were helpful.
Please send me those links. I'll toss them in the video description.
Yep, I will.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, once again for watching, and we will see you next time. Everyone, let's get a goodbye bomb. 3, 2, 1.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.